Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Paranormal Primetime, brought to you by Paranormal the New Normal. We are glad to be back again. Got Malachi with me as we start a very special episode here. We are doing it's the season two-part finale, and it's going to be a lot to talk about. A lot of great moments and a lot of future things that are going to happen because of things in this episode. So strap in. I said strap in, not strap on. And let's get let's get this show on the road. Malachi, take us off.
So I think this is like the first part one, part two we've done so far, right? Like the first legitimate.
Yeah, the first legitimate one. I mean, the end of season one and the beginning of season two were kind of a part one, part two, but it
Yeah,
it wasn't called that. So this is actually the first legit one.
this is like the first time you and me will both do basically the same episode. Like this with two episodes turned into one. So uh
Yep.
they obviously, this is the finale. They took it seriously. So Sierra Gamble was the writer and Bobby Singer, very important name, was the director of this one. I'm starting our episode off with season 2, episode 21. All hell breaks loose. So this one starts off pretty innocently. Sam and Dean are still kind of running from the law and shit, and they pull up to a diner. Fucking Sam's going in to get the food because Dean's more wanted, and Dean's demanding pie. We cut to Sam kind of walking into this diner with people in there and shit, and then Dean listening to music in the Impala, and then cut back to like tragedy in this fucking little restaurant there. Um, so when Dean goes to investigate, he sees a bunch of dead fucking people, but Sam is nowhere to be found. So Dean notices that he can smell sulfur. So we kind of get the idea that a demon came in, killed everybody, abducted Sam. Cut to Sam waking up in this old school like Blair Witch where Jeremy lives type of town out in the
I do.
middle of fucking.
I live in a pretty major city, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
Well,
I don't live in
you live out by the fucking where all the witch trials and shit happened. Come on now.
a good hour and a half from that part of Massachusetts. It's been okay, buddy. Like
Most
no
of
one.
the shit in my town was made in the 80s. Yours was like 150, 300 years ago. Who knows?
There are probably some houses around here that are that old. I wouldn't doubt it.
So basically, Sam wakes up in Jeremy's neighborhood and he has no fucking idea where he's at. And when he starts checking the place out, he finds Andy. And you guys will remember Andy had the badass van and like a 4-foot bong. He was the guy that had all the powers like Sam. And then he says the last thing he remembers was like he was 4 bong loads in, and then he just fucking woke up there. So they hear some screaming, and they end up finding Ava, which Sam has been looking for Ava for like 6 episodes, 6 months, who knows how long, and she is like locked in a closet. Sam goes on to tell her that he's been looking for her for months, and she doesn't realize that it's months. She says she thinks she just like woke up there kind of right after she left Sam, which was around 6 months ago, I guess. And she's going on about her fiance and all this stuff. Sam doesn't tell her that her fiance is dead.
At her hands.
Yeah, so the three of them end up walking around. They find this black army dude and another girl. So now there's 5 of them. And this is where they realize that all of them are the same age and they all have powers. And this new girl they found says that, like, yeah, your powers are all great, but I'm like Rogue in the X-Men, so whenever I touch people, they fucking die. Good for me. This power sucks. Then we cut to Bobby and Dean, and there's like no trail, right? So Bobby's going on about how like there's no demon activity anywhere. There's like nothing happening. It's strange because this is the first time where they can't find any of that shit happening. And this is where Ash calls Dean, and says, "Get to the roadhouse immediately." So then we cut back to Sam and his merry band of misfits, and okay, he explains that they're all sort of drafted in this, like, to be demon soldiers in this war against good versus evil, and the military dude takes off and he sees this little girl demon, and Sam saves his ass with a wrought iron poker. Which, wrought iron and demons, right? That's like more of a ghost thing. I didn't get that. I guess
It
she
works on
is kind of a spirit, but
demons too.
mhm.
I mean,
we'll have to
especially the ones if they're not possessing a body.
we'll have to pay attention through the rest of this podcast to see if there's any demons like leaning on a wrought iron fence or anything later in the future. But so they walk into the town square, and this is where Sam kind of realizes where they are because there's this fucking bell, huge bell that has this oak tree engraved into it, and he realizes he's in Cold Oak, South Dakota. Now, you've done more paranormal shit than I have. Is this a real place or was this made up?
I can't say it's anything where I've heard of. It was South
Yeah, I've
Dakota.
never.
No, it's a fictional town in Supernatural. I just googled it.
Okay, okay, yeah, because I would have thought we would have fucking like done an episode on that if it was real. But
I
this
mean,
town is.
it's a reminiscent of like Roanoke. It's a ghost town basically.
Yeah, Roanoke was more of a fucking money laundering scheme, in my opinion. But we talked about that on the Roanoke episode. Um, but this was a town apparently that was so haunted that the entire fucking town fled. All the residents fled, and so this new girl that I guess we know her name, but she's not Ava. She starts freaking out. And when they're looking for weapons, this girl was talking about leaving, and she just fucking took off. She left Dodge. She's out of there. And then we cut back to Dean and Bobby arriving at the roadhouse, and the thing's fucking burnt to the ground. They end up finding Ash's arm with his watch. Then we're back to Sam and the gang, and they notice that the girlie's gone, and they hear this fucking creepy little demon girl laughing, and they find this girl tied up to a windmill. And this is when Ava has one of these headaches where she's like touching her temples and shit. So
Well,
Sam and Ann,
she's not tied up to a windmill. She's not tied up to the windmill. She's hung from the windmill.
yeah, hung from the windmill.
Dangling like a damn wind chime.
So that looked pretty creepy. I will say that was pretty good. But Sam and Andy are off talking. Bong dude with the kick ass van there. And Sam's talking about how he wishes Dean was there because Dean would know what to do. Gay meter or two here. And then Andy says, "Well, hey man, I can like use my powers to reach farther now. So let me try to contact Dean." And then we cut back to Dean and Bobby, and Dean starts being a little bitch. He's my head hurts, wah wah wah, and then he sees the fucking bell and shit and tells Bobby, and Bobby knows exactly where they are. So they head off to this fucking Cold Oak, South Dakota place, back to Sam and the military dude, and they're talking about their abilities and like I was in Iraq or Afghanistan and yada yada yada. This is like a 5-10 minute part of the episode, and you're so brave. I'm glad I'm here with you. You're kind of like my brother. Getting a getting a little higher in the game meter here. Then Sam and Ava start salting all the windows and doorways and everything, and Sam tells her that like her fiance's dead, and she acts all boo hoo hoo about it and shit. We'll find out later that's all a fraud. And Sam trying to keep watch, he ends up falling asleep, and Yellow Eyes shows up. Right, so they're in the same place, and he goes on to tell him that this is basically free for all, winner take all. Like, I need one demon soldier, and this is tryouts. Like, have you seen the Joker when he busts the pool cue, says we're only hiring one right now? That's exactly what's going on. And Yellow Eyes wants, he's rooting for Sam. Like, he wants Sam to be his fucking demon soldier. And, they're going back and forth. Sam says that he's going to make him suck his Johnson if he doesn't, like, he's going to kill this motherfucker. And back and forth, back and forth. And then he makes Sam relive the moment his mom died. And he notices that when his mom's in the nursery, that she acknowledged who this demon was. She's like, you. So Sam's mom knew this demon for whatever reason before she died.
We'll
Which,
find that out. We'll find that out in a future episode.
yeah, 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 yeah. Quite a future episode too, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
But then, yeah, he relives her going on the roof and burning up, and that
Well, no,
happens.
the demon took him out before that happened because he didn't want him to just live through that again.
What saw him like go up the side of the wall.
Well, yeah, but before the flames erupted, he got him out of there.
Yeah, but he sees that shit going on, and then so the military dude wakes him up and informs him that fucking Ava is missing. So Andy ends up finding Ava breaking a fucking salt line, and we find out that she's controlling a demon that kills fucking Andy, which Andy was like the coolest dude in this episode. So it sucks that fucking Andy died.
Oh,
But
and yeah, he was the coolest dude because you totally glossed over the whole part where he said like that he's been mastering his powers. He's been making like this one guy who's a dick in his town like pretty much picture gay porn all the time. Fucking
well,
hilarious.
yeah, I don't know how detailed I should get in this, but Sam finally realizes last time Ava had a headache that first girl died hung to the windmill, and now like we got this fucking demon that just killed Andy. So then Ava's fucking talking to Sam and admits that like she's been there the whole fucking time, right? Like she didn't black out and just wake up there. These kids their age have been coming in and out, and she's like top dog, killing everybody. She's gonna win and be the demon fucking soldier boy. And then the military dude comes up and fucking snaps her. She's dead.
That was a badass.
And
That was a badass kill scene too.
well, the demon she was summoning, that thing just like sort of dissipates away. Everybody thinks they're kind of safe there for a minute. The military dude and Sam start walking, but the military dude says, "Hey, I had a dream too, fuckhead. I know how this goes down. Sorry, you're gonna have to die." So they're in this big ass fight scene, and then Sam fucking knocks him out, and he's debating whether or not to just like kill this fucker. But he thinks that if he kills this fucker, he's going to turn into more of a demon or whatever, let the evil in. So he lets the dude live, Then Bobby and Dean show up, and as Sam's walking towards them, military dude stabs Dean in the spinal cord. And Bobby chases after the military dude. Not going to catch him. I mean, we can be fair about this. Bobby doesn't look like a runner. And
He's a
Sam,
drinker. He's a drinker. He ain't no damn runner.
yeah. And then Sam dies in Dean's arms. Dun dun dun. That's how we leave the episode. The only thing that I saw that was crazy about this episode is Andy's earrings were on the opposite side of where they were on his original episode. So
Yeah, and it is technically the first time a main character dies in the show.
yeah, for the first, yeah, this will be the first time a main character dies. Well, I don't know. What do you think about, like, technically we don't know where Joe and fucking, I know Joe's off doing her thing, but we don't know where Ellen is, right? She could have died. I know we find Ash's arm, but would Ash be considered?
No, he's a
He's a
side
big
character.
character. He's
He's
a
a
big
side character.
character, though.
Sorry, I was getting poured on all of a sudden. It started pouring fucking rain here.
Oh,
But out of nowhere, I was feeling like this staticky sound in the back of my headphones. Like, what the fuck is that? And I take out my headphones. Like, oh, it's pouring out. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, it's because you live in that old witchcraft town.
No, it's the first. It's the first time we've had rain in a long time, actually. But that's right. Well, time to go into the continuation of Malachi's episode here. I had season 2, episode 22, the season finale, All Hell Breaks Loose Part 2. And it was written by Eric Kripke and Michael T. Moore and directed by Kim Manners. So Bobby Singer was too busy being in this episode to actually direct it. But
He's not Bobby, right? Like,
yeah, he is.
Bobby is the director?
Of some of the episodes, yeah.
Like the character Bobby. I never knew that. I thought he just named the character after himself, but the actual director, Bobby Singer, is the actor.
As far as I believe so, yeah. Uh,
I
oh
love
no,
Bobby's character.
no. Jim Beaver plays Bobby Singer. I'm wrong.
Okay.
I knew
Okay.
I didn't sound right. They just named the character after the director, but
Yeah, that's what I thought.
there's even a comment about that in one of the episodes that comes up eventually. But basically, this episode opens up where we see Sam laid out in a bed, and Dean still is watching him, but Sam's obviously dead. And Bobby comes in telling Dean he needs to eat some food, and he suggests they bury Sam finally. Dean refuses. You can tell he's pissed off at the world. And Bobby asks Dean to go with him because something big is going down, end of the world big. Dean says, then let it end. Which Bobby's like, you don't mean that. And he thinks that Dean shouldn't be left alone. Dean tells him to leave, which he does. Because he's not a bitch. He's just going to leave if you want to leave. But we flash over to Jake, who military boy, who escaped Cold Oak and is camping out in the woods. The yellow-eyed demon appears to him and says, "Congratulations, Jake! Last man standing, the American Idol." And Jake wants to know what the demon's plans are for him and threatens to kill him yet again. The demon thinks it's hilarious and threatens Jake's family, and Jake basically has no choice but to do what Yellow Eye says. We flash back to Dean, who's sitting alone, looking at Sam's body. He starts talking about memories from when they were little, and Sam, particularly when Sam was 5, he started asking questions about like where his mom was, and that Dean says he always told Sam not to ask, and that he just tried to protect him because he felt it was his job to, and then now he screwed up that job. Dean says he's sorry. He always lets down the people he loves, and then he runs out of the house like a smitten teenage girl and goes into the Impala.
What's the game meter at?
I honestly, the game meter's gonna be like a 1, dude. If it was my brother, I'd probably be in the same mindset, so I could see it. But he drives to the closest crossroads, and puts together his little box and summons the Crossroads demon that we saw previously in Crossroad Blues. She appears after he yells at her, "Get out here, you bitch!" But she shows up. He tells her he wants to make a deal for Sam's life, which she already knew that. But she plays some games with him, and she's enjoying how much he's hurting. He tries to make a deal for the soul of Sam back for 10 years, and that he only gets 10 years left in his life. She's like, no go. He bargains down to 9, then 8, and finally the demon just says, I'll give you Sam back, but you only get a year to live. Which, ouch, a year. Imagine knowing that you're going to die a year from that day. But
The years go quick when you're fucking 40, dude.
tell me about it. I know, uh, but Dean basically has to accept this deal though, because it's the only way he's getting Sam brought back to life. But the demon says if Dean ever tries to get out of the deal, that Sam will die again, right there on the spot, no questions asked, no warning. And Dean grabs her and gives her a big fat kiss, which was very erotic, and makes the deal. And the demon enjoyed it more than Dean did, I'm pretty sure. But he makes the deal.
I think Jeremy enjoyed it the most, though.
Hey. If you gotta make a deal with the devil, at least you get to kiss a hot chick out of it. But we flash back to Sam and we see him waking up confused about what's going on, where he is, and he goes to the closest mirror and tries to look at his back where he was stabbed. He knows something's wrong, but he can't figure out what it is. Dean walks in, gives him a big hug, happy to see him alive. Sam lies. Sam asks what happened. Dean lies, saying he was stabbed in the back, but Bobby patched him up. And Dean asks who the kid was anyway, and Sam's like, his name's Jake. He asks if Dean got Jake, but Dean says, nah, he got away. They get some food to eat because Dean tells Sam he's starving and that Sam needs to eat something. And Sam tells Dean everything that happened while he was in Cold Oak. And he tells him how the demon only wants one special kid. And that's basically Demon Hunger Games. And he can't understand why him and Jake are both still alive, as that's 2 kids. Dean kind of brushes off and says that Sam was left for dead. Sam accepts it, but he's not believing it. And it says they have to figure out what the demon wants a special kid for and to stop him. Dean wants him to rest up first, but of course he refuses and says that they should call the roadhouse. Dean then, with a very conspicuous look on his face, tells him that the roadhouse burned down because of something Ash found out. And that Bobby is trying to find out what that was. Sam tells him that they have to go to Bobby's, despite Dean saying that he needs to rest up a little more. They get to Bobby's house, and we see a very shocked and disturbed Bobby seeing Sam alive. He doesn't say anything, but he gives Dean some fucking killer looks, like, what the fuck did you do? But Sam notices that too. They go inside, and Bobby shows them what he's found. He doesn't know what it means, but
I can't. Shit. That's probably on me. Hold up.
What?
I think I fucking broke. You blacked out.
Yeah, it's definitely on you. But Bobby says that.
Good.
Right. Bobby says that demonic Owens have skyrocketed in a certain area, all except for one place in the center. He shows him a map of Wyoming, and there's one place in southern Wyoming that's totally clean, as if the demons are surrounding it but can't get in. And Bobby asks Sam to take a look for clues to why, while he and Dean go outside and get some more research books. As soon as they get outside, Bobby confronts Dean. What did you do, you idiot? Which, first time he used the word idiot.
Yeah, buddy. That one's going to come back.
Oh, nonstop. But Bobby's pissed, but it's... And Bobby's really pissed at Dean. Dean says, yeah, I made a deal, but why should it matter? He shouldn't be alive anyway after the crash. That his father, he's only alive because his father made a deal for him. And after they go back and forth, Dean makes him promise not to tell Sam, and all of a sudden they hear a noise in the yard. They get ready to attack, and right when they're about to attack, they realize it's Ellen looking for them. And Bobby comes to the house and makes Ellen drink a shot of holy water to prove she's not a demon or possessed. She drinks the water and says, "Now I'll take a whiskey." Dean asks her what happened at the roadhouse, and she explains that she had to go out for supplies, pretzels to be exact, and that Ash called her and told her to look in the safe, but by the time she got back, the place was on fire and everyone was dead. So, R.I.P. Ash. But
Ash was cool too.
yeah, he was definitely a cool character, but short-lived. But Ellen got to the safe when she got back because it was in the basement, and there was a safe of another map of Wyoming in the safe. And Bobby figures out that the marks on the map are all abandoned frontier churches, all built by Sam Colt, the maker of the one-shot kill gun, the GoldenEye 007 gun, we'll call it.
Have we talked about that yet? That's like new news,
No,
right?
no, the gun?
Yeah.
No, it was in the first season. John gave it up to the Yellow Eye Demon.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's been so long.
Yeah,
It's all mixed
but
together, dude.
yeah. But apparently, private railway lines connect each church, and when the lines are drawn out, they make a huge iron devil's trap, and demons can't cross the iron lines. Sounds like a good place to live, but
Do you know if that's real?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
But in the middle of the trap is an old cowboy cemetery, and Sam is trying to figure out what Sam Colt was trying to protect there, and Dean suggests that maybe he was trying to keep something in. Sam asks Bobby if the demons could get inside the trap, and Bobby says no, full blood demon could. And that's when Sam realizes what the demon wants the gifted kid for, to get inside the devil's trap in Wyoming. Which we then see Jake drive up to the edge of a railroad, conspicuously at the same time, and he's met by the demon. Yellow Eyes tells him that 15 miles in is a cemetery and a crypt, and that Jake has to open the crypt because he can't go in there yet himself. Jake says no, and he's going to kill him again, blah, blah, blah. The demon gives him the Colt and explains that it's only gun that can kill him. Hearing this, Jake points at the demon, but the demon laughs and offers Jake and his family money and honey forever. He offers a better world where Jake will be royalty, and Jake gives in and takes it like a little bitch. And he starts heading in. We go into the cemetery later that night, and we see Jake walking towards the crypt. And we see that Dean, Sam, Ellen, and Bobby are all in hiding places behind graves, and they pop out and they all pull guns on him. He looks at Sam shocked, saying that Sam was dead and that he cut through his spinal cord. Sam is like, "What? You did what now?" And Jake just laughs and makes Ellen put her own gun to her temple by suggesting it, because he increased his power since the last time we saw him. His pupils briefly flash yellow, and he tells the others that once you give into the abilities, there are lots of Jedi mind tricks that they can do. I like the reference. He says they should all put their guns down, and then he turns, placing the Colt into a strange rotating lock on the crypt. Sam gets the gun back and repeatedly shoots Jake. Gets his gun back, not the Colt, I should say, and repeatedly shoots Jake, like very cold-heartedly, very angry. And behind them, we see the lock spinning and opening. Bobby explains it's a Hellgate. Dean tugs the Colt from the spinning lock, and they take cover. The iron train lines are broken by the Force, and the demons can finally enter and leave the cemetery. Bobby, Ellen, and Sam are trying to close the gate, but Dean spots the yellow-eyed demon and tries to shoot him. The demon takes the gun away using his powers, and it flies into his hand. Nice little Jedi trick there as well. He tosses Dean into a headstone and pins him there. Sam turns around, sees what's happening. He's like, "No, my brother," and runs for him, but he gets pinned to a tree, like, because he's an idiot and doesn't realize it's going to happen anyway. The Yellow Eyes thanks Dean for bringing Sam back because Sam was his favorite all along. He explains that demons can't resurrect someone unless a deal was made, which we didn't know that to this point. But
And that might change too, right? Like I think that does change later.
I'm not sure about that, but it's funny because Yellow Eyes actually says, he's like, "Yeah, I know, red tape, it'll make you nuts." And he warns Dean that the deal may not have been as good as it seemed. He mentions how cold-blooded Sam was when he shot Jake, and he mocks Dean one more time, then draws the Colt to shoot Dean. Suddenly, we see John Winchester's spirit pop out from behind him, and he grabs the demon, wrestling his true form out of the borrowed body. And after a struggle, the demon overpowers John and returns to the body. Getting up again, he lurches forward to try to confront Dean, but he stops cold when he realizes that Dean has the Colt in his hands. And with a nice look of anger, Dean shoots the demon in the heart, killing him at long last. and avenging his mother and father. The whole point of the show finally concludes in the second season. Yellow Eyes
I would have
drops the.
shot him in the dick. It would have been more impactful.
He could have had a small dick and you could have missed. You don't know that. But Yellow Eyes drops to the ground, and Bobby and Ellen finally manage to close the Devil's Gate right that time. John's spirit walks forward, and we have a very touching moment where he puts his hand on Dean's shoulder and he nods to Sam. They're all crying with tears in their eyes, but smiling at the same time. And eventually, John just vanishes into a bright light. They look over at Yellow Eye's body, and Sam asks Dean if he thinks her dad really climbed out of hell, and Dean says the door was open and he was stubborn enough. It's John Winchester, for God's sake. And Sam says
Yeah,
he can't
buddy.
believe. Sam says he can't believe it's over. That he doesn't know what to say. Dean says that he knows exactly what to say, and he kneels, saying to the corpse, "That was for our mom, you son of a bitch." We get one last scene with them in front of the Impala. Sam finally confronts Dean about what really happened, and mentioning that Jake looked like he saw a ghost when he saw Sam. He asked if he died, and Dean made a deal. Eventually, Dean's silence is as good as confession. Sam says you shouldn't have done that, but Dean insists he had to. It's his job to protect his brother. But Sam says it's his job to protect Dean too. Dean smiles back at him with a gay meter of about 4. And and Bobby and Ellen walk up, and they for some foreshadowing here for next season. Ellen says, "A lot of demons escaped through the gate." Sam says, "It's an army." Bobby just nods and says he hopes the boys are ready because the war has just begun. Dean tosses the Colt into the trunk in a very gay scene and says, "We got work to do." Boom, boom, boom.
And in an alternate universe, John Winchester is going through a zombie apocalypse.
Possibly. Well, yeah, not for many, not for a few years after this, still. But
He looks a lot better when he's older too. I will say that. I've always thought that. Like, dude got better with age. I can say that.
well, folks, Azazel, or the Yellow Demon, is officially dead as far as we know, and that is the end of the second season.
What would you rate these finale wise? Like, you got to rate them a little harder.
I would give the first episode a 3.5. I think it was a little weak. I
Yeah.
I think they could have done a lot more of like the actual special kids battling each other. And the second episode, I would give a 4.3 just for all the tying up it did of storylines, and Dean making the deal kind of makes it a good episode.
I was still kind of a little disappointed with like back at this time I was waiting episode for episode, right? Or like waiting to buy the DVD box set, and like it was kind of lackluster for a season finale.
And we do have another first in this one. Jake is Sam's first kill of somebody who's not possessed by any supernatural being.
Yeah, didn't his eyes flashed yellow a little bit? Come on now. He is supernatural. He has powers like Sam.
Eh, well, he did, but I mean, he wasn't like possessed by any supernatural being. He was just being himself. He was making his own choices. Nobody was forcing him to do anything. He was just falling for a demon's trap. And another fact for this one, that is the last. If those for those who are counting, that's the final cult bullet in the cult, and for now at least.
Yeah, for
But
now at least.
for a for a good long time. But and
They
they
got to get another Walking Dead character before they start getting some more of that shit. If you know what I mean.
and they actually reveal some of the demons that are released from the Devil's Gate, including Ruby, Lilith, Astaroth, and the Seven Deadly Sins, which we'll see most of those at some point in the future. But and we find out the real reason for the Devil's Gate being open in a future episode, but I'm not going to reveal that yet. And this is the first time that we see a Prince of Hell get killed. Because for those who don't know, Azazel is a Prince of Hell in all literature. And that's it.
I'm really excited. What do you think our Halloween episode's going to be?
I have no idea. Way too far out to freaking count ahead. But oh,
October's coming.
and this is the first episode where we hear "Carry On My Wayward Son" in the road so far.
Really?
Hmm.
Shit, I didn't even put that together because that's like in a fuckload of episodes later in the future.
Well, yeah, it becomes a theme song basically. But
Yeah.
no, and I actually didn't realize it because I didn't watch the road so far because Netflix automatically skips it if you're watching the previous episode.
Ah.
So that's pretty much all I got for this. It's this we have a good season finale here, and next we get to start season 3 next week, folks. So yay!
Hopefully with a bang. And if I'm right, I think season 3 was the best fucking season. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's a good season for sure. And as you can tell, folks, it's going to be a very demon oriented season. So get ready for some hell, literally. And we'll see you all next week. Have a good one, everybody.
Take it easy.
Alrighty.